Evaluating properties. If you are going to invest in real estate, the most important thing that you need to know is how to evaluate properties. Because if you can't evaluate properties and establish a value, you'll never make any money. And there's always going to be some agent telling you what something is worth. And most of the time they're wrong or they're high, really high on the value. In some cases, they can be low on the value. I've seen that too, but I would say higher more than low. But what they will tell you a lot of times is to go, they'll find two or three comps that'll be the highest comps in the neighborhood. You don't want to work from the highest comps in the neighborhood. You want to work toward the middle of the comps and you get a more realistic value because if you work from the highest comp in the neighborhood, you're going to be setting yourself up for failure, really. But you first of all need to look for comps in close, very close proximity, preferably in the same neighborhood. The other thing you're going to want to look at is properties that are in similar condition. If the properties are differing in condition, you're going to need to make adjustments based on whatever the renovation cost is. So if you have a house that's fully remodeled that closed for 300, if your property needs $50,000 in repairs to be the same type of value for it to reach 300,000, if it needs 50,000 in repairs, then you're going to, when you evaluate your comps, you're going to want to deduct 50,000 from your comp value, which makes it 250. That's what it's worth in comparison with the other one you're looking at. And then you have to buffer in amount for profit. And most people underestimate their closing cost and they underestimate their repairs. You need to get really specific estimates on what your repairs are going to be. And you need to get specific estimates from the attorney or title company. If you're in Florida, it's going to be a title company, most likely. If you're in Georgia, it's going to be an attorney. But you're going to want to get a estimated closing statement on what your costs are going to be, where you can factor that in there. And I would recommend buffer it by 5,000 on your closing costs and buffer your repairs 5 to 10,000 on your repairs, depending on what you're doing, because you don't want to run everything so tight where if you hit a unexpected expense, you're not going to make any money. And it's not a matter of if there will be unexpected expenses. There absolutely will be unexpected expenses on almost every deal. So look at your comps, look at comps within the neighborhood if possible. Now, in a lot of rural areas, you're not going to be able to be within the same neighborhood. You may have to span out, but you at least want to be in comparable neighborhoods and not in neighborhoods that are totally, if you've got a house that's built in 1970, you really don't want to use comparables that are built in 2008 because you're going to have to make so many adjustments. It's not going to really work. So that is my advice to you. Those are my brief thoughts. We will have some more thoughts on this later, but those are some tips for you on buying properties and evaluating them and sort of setting up your closing costs and your repair expenses. And you want to be as specific on all that as you can, and you want to leave yourself some room, a little buffer, as we say. And also on your comps, you want to don't work from the absolute highest comp in the neighborhood, because everybody wants you to do that. Oh, this house sold for 280 and everything else in the neighborhood sold for 250 and less. You don't want to go off 280 because that's just setting yourself up for failure. You got to reach the highest sale in the neighborhood, and everybody thinks they can do it, but rarely do you. It's just a difficult thing to do. So shoot it more from the middle and you'll be okay. But that is all for today, and hope everybody has a great day. And if you have any real estate questions, I would love to help you. 229 890 1186. Norris Bishop, Norris Bishop Realty.